Hello everyone. Welcome back to another lecture on reasoning ability and problem solving. In today's lecture, we will discuss some example questions for coded inequalities. Now, while discussing coded inequalities in the previous lecture, I told you that we deal with only 5 signs in coded inequality. The first sign was this. This means A and B. It basically means A is greater than B, correct? A is greater than B. If we have this symbol, it means A is smaller than B, correct? A is smaller than B. Similarly, if we have this symbol, it basically means A is equal to B or A is equivalent to B, correct? Then we have this symbol, which basically means two possibilities. So A is either greater or equal to B. Or equal to B. So A is either greater or equal to B. Here we have two possibilities. Then we have this symbol. Okay. This symbol means again two possibilities, that A is either smaller. A is either smaller or equal to B. Correct? Or equal to B. So only these 5 symbols are there in coded inequalities that we have to take care of, correct? So we will start with question number 1, example number 1. So in your examinations, you will have directions given like this at top of the questions. Basically, the direction says that in these questions, the relationship between different elements is shown in the statements. So these symbols, these 5 symbols, definitely shows the relationship between elements. We have to two conclusions are given, or in some questions even 3 or 4 conclusions are given. We have to find the conclusions that follows. Follows means we have to find the conclusions that are true. Definitely true, actually. Definitely true. Correct? Now, let us start by looking at the question. The statement says that this relationship between A, M, R, F, Z, X, all these different elements is given to us. And based on this, we have two conclusions and we have to determine whether these conclusions are true or not. So over here, I told you that we move from the direction of the bigger door to the smaller door, correct? From the direction of the bigger door to the smaller door, this we discussed in the previous lecture, bigger door to smaller door. So we will do the exact same approach over here. So over here the bigger door is towards A. So we will move from A towards Z, correct? So if I move towards A, from A towards Z, I can see if this much information I take from A to Z, A is greater than M, which is greater than R, which is equivalent to F, which is greater than equal to Z. So over here, following the direction of bigger door to smaller door, I can see that A is definitely greater than Z, but is it greater than equal to? No, because over here the symbols that are used are only for greater than and not greater than equal to. These symbols are greater than symbols and not greater than equal to symbols. Therefore, this is false. Correct? Based on this much information, I can conclude that A is greater than Z. But I cannot conclude that A is greater than or equal to Z. Only one possibility is there. Correct? So this statement is false. Now we have to look at this one. V to Z. So bigger door to smaller door. So while moving from V to Z, this much information we will use. From V to Z, I can see V is greater than C, which is greater than X, which is greater than Z. So clearly I can see that V is greater than Z. Therefore, this statement is true. So I can see in the options, option number 2 says that only conclusion 2 follows. That means only conclusion 2 is true. Therefore, this will be our answer. Clear? Moving on to question number 2. Question number 2, again, relationship is given to us between Z, W, V, K, L, I, so on. And two conclusions are given to us. And we have to identify which is true and which is not. Now, So we will move from bigger door to smaller door. That means we will move from W to K. So over here, W to K is this much information. W is greater than V, which is equivalent to K. So if I remove this, because these are equal, so W will be greater than K. Therefore, this conclusion is true. Correct? Now we have to move from I to K, bigger door to smaller door. So I to K means this much information will be used. I to K. So I is greater than L, which is greater than K. Correct? So I can conclude that I is definitely greater than K. So this statement is also true. Correct? So my answer, if I look at the options, my answer will be that both the conclusions 1 and 2 follow. That means both the conclusions are true. Therefore, my answer will be option number 5. Clear? Now, moving on to question number 3. Question number 3, again statement is given to us which shows the relationship between Z, X, C, V, B, G, H and J. Correct? And 2 conclusions are given to us and we have to identify which conclusion is true and which is not. Now, we will move from bigger door to smaller door. So, from G to Z. So, from G to Z, I can see if I take G, C, B or up till G and C, and then I can see C to Z. So, this much information, G is basically greater than C, C is greater than X and X is greater than Z. This is given in this much information, correct? G is greater than C, C is greater than X, X is greater than Z. So, I can conclude that G is definitely greater than Z from bigger door to smaller door. Therefore, this is true. Correct? Now, we have to see whether J is greater than X. So, we will move from the direction of J towards X. So, over here, I can see relationship between J and C and X. So, basically, it shows that J is greater than equal to H, which is greater than G, which is greater than C, which is greater than X. Correct? If I combine these two information, I am getting this. So, now I can see that G is definitely greater than X. Correct? So, this statement is also true. We moved from J to X, from bigger door to smaller door. So, both the conclusions are true. So, my answer will be option number 5, that both conclusion 1 and 2 follow. Clear? Now, moving on to question number 4. Question number 4, first statement is given, shows relationship between various elements and then conclusion is given. So, we have to determine whether Q is greater than K. So, bigger door to smaller door. So, I can see that Q is greater than B and B is greater than E and E is greater than K. So, Q is greater than B, B is greater than E, E is greater than K. So, clearly Q is greater than K. Hence, this information is true. Now, I have to find relationship between Q and E, whether they are equal. If I look at this much information, I can say that Q is greater than E, correct? But definitely they are not equal. So, this conclusion is false. So, my answer will be that only conclusion 1 follows. Therefore, option number 1 will be the answer. Clear? Now, moving on to question number 5. Question number 5, first statement is given, then 2 conclusions are given. So, first conclusion says that Q is greater than equal to T. So, now I have to move from bigger door to smaller door. So, Q to E. If I look at this much information, this shows the relationship between Q and T. Correct? This much information shows the relationship between Q and T. So, now, if I look over here, Q is greater than equal to W. W is greater than equal to E. E is greater than equal to R. But over here, the direction changes. Over here, I cannot move from bigger door to smaller door because this is reverse direction. Correct? In front of R, we have a smaller door. So, we cannot move forward. That means the relationship between Q and T is unknown. So, this is false because we are looking for only definitely true relations. Correct? Now, we have to determine whether I is greater than equal to R. So, we will move from I to R. Correct? So, If we move from I to R, I can see this information. It says that I is greater than equal to U is greater than equal to Y is greater than T, and T is greater than R. So if you look at these two symbols, these are symbols of greater than, not greater than equal to, correct? So we have to find this symbol, whether R is, whether I is greater than equal to R. But over here I can conclude that I is greater than R, but I cannot conclude that I is greater than equal to R. This much information I can conclude. So this statement will be false. Okay. So my answer will be option number 4, that neither conclusion 1 nor conclusion 2 follows. Clear? Moving on to question number 6. Question number 6, again statement is given to us, conclusion we have to find out. Now, E is greater than P. That means we have to move from E to P. E is greater than P. So over here I can see relationship between E and N, and I can see relationship between N and P. So E is greater than equal to N and N is greater than P. Correct? So this definitely, based on this much information, I can conclude that E is greater than P. So this will become true. Correct? Now, L is greater than R. So we will move from L to R. So if I look at this information, L till I, okay, and then I to R. So L is greater than I and I is greater than equal to R. So based on this information, I can conclude that L will be greater than R. So this information is also true. So my answer will be that both conclusions 1 and 2 are true. So option number 5 will be the answer. Clear? Now, coming to question number 7. Question number 7, again, we have the relation in the statement and conclusions are given, and we have to find whether the conclusions are true or not. So now if K is greater than N, that means we will move from K to N. If I move from K to N, this is K. Okay. In front of K, I see only a small door. I do not see a bigger door. So there is no way to proceed after K in neither of the directions. Correct? I cannot proceed after K because we move from bigger door to smaller door, correct? Bigger door to smaller door. And I cannot proceed. Correct? That means this is false. Now, coming to conclusion 2, Z is greater than I, so I have to move from Z to I. So Z is over here, Z is greater than N and N is equal to I. So Z is greater than E is greater than equal to N and N is equal to I. So based on this information, I can definitely say that Z is greater than I. So this information is true. This conclusion is true. So my answer will be that only conclusion 2 follows. 2 is true. Therefore, option number 2. Correct? Now, coming to question number 8, again a statement is given to us, conclusions are given to us, and we have to identify which of these conclusion follows. So first conclusion is C is greater than A. So we will move from C to A. Over here, I can see that C has a relationship with D and D has a relationship with A. So I can see that C is greater than X, which is greater than Z, which is greater than D, and D is greater than S and S is greater than A. Correct? This much information. So I can clearly see that C is greater than A. So this is true. Correct? Now we have to check whether C is greater than equal to G. So G is over here. Correct? This much information if I add. So D is basically equal to F and F is greater than G. Based on this information, I can conclude that C is greater to J, but I cannot conclude that C is greater than equal to J. Correct? This sign is not, we are not able to conclude this sign. So this statement will be false. This conclusion will be false. So my answer will be that only conclusion 1 follows. Therefore, option number 1. Correct? We have very easy questions. These are all direct inequalities questions. Very easy. Now, Coming to question number 9. Statement is given, conclusions are given. We have to identify which conclusions are true. So S is greater to E, that means we will move from S to E. Correct? We will move from S to E. So over here I can see relationship of S with A and I can see relationship of A with E. So if I combine the two, I can see S is greater than A is greater than equal to L, and L is greater than E. So based on this statement, I can definitely conclude that S is greater than E. Correct? So this will be true. Now coming to second conclusion, which says that S is greater than L. S is greater than L. So based on again this much information, I can see relationship of S and L. S is definitely greater than L, so this will also be true. So my answer will be that both the conclusions 1 and 2 are true. So option number 5 will be the answer. Clear? Now, let us look at question number 10. Question number 10, statement is given, conclusions are given. We have to identify which conclusions follow. So, A is greater than M. That means we have to move from A to M. Correct? Now, I can see relation between A and L, and I can see relationship between A and M. So, A is greater than equal to L and L is greater than equal to M. So, based on this information, I can conclude A is greater than equal to M. Correct? And this sign, what is the meaning of this sign? I've told you already. This sign means A is either greater to or equal to M. So there are two possibilities that A could be either greater or A could be equal to M. If I look at these two options, in the first option we have A is greater than M, and in the second conclusion we have A is equal to M. So basically this is either and or. That means A is either greater to M or it is equal to M. Correct? This is the statement because this is the relationship between A and M. Correct? This is the relationship between A and M. So this is either and or. So my answer will be that either conclusion 1 is true or conclusion 2 is true. So option number 3 will be my answer to this question. Clear? Now, coming to question number 11. Question number 11, again statement is given to us, conclusions are given to us. We have to tell which is true. Now let us solve this quickly. P is greater than N. So we will move from P towards N. I can see relationship between P and E and N. So if I move from bigger door to smaller door, I can move from P to V. I cannot move further because over here the sign has changed. Correct? Over here the sign has changed. So I cannot move further. We have to move from bigger door to smaller door. So after V, I cannot move further. Therefore, this is false. Correct? This is false. Coming to second conclusion, G is greater than equal to Y. So we have to move from G to Y. Correct? If I look over here, I can see that G and E have a relation and E and Y have a relation. So it is given to us that G is greater than equal to E and E is less than Y. So again, if I have to move from bigger door to smaller door, I can move towards E but I cannot go forward. Why? Because the symbol has changed. There is a smaller door, not a bigger door. So this is also false. So my answer will be that neither conclusion 1 nor conclusion 2 is true. Option number 4. Clear? Question number 12. Question number 12, let us start. B is greater than M. So B is greater than M, we will move from B to M. So B, then N, then M. Correct? I can easily proceed from B to M, bigger door to smaller door. So this is true. Next is G is greater to M. So we will move from G to M. Over here, I can see G is greater to F, F is greater to D, D is greater to S, and S is greater to M. So I can easily proceed from G to M. That means this is also true. So my answer will be that both conclusion 1 and 2 follow. Therefore, my answer will be option number 5. Correct? Coming to question number 3. Question number 3, again statement is given to us, conclusions are given to us. We have to identify which of them is true. F is greater than B. Correct. F is greater than B means we will move from F to B. Now I can see F, but can I move forward from F? No, because we have a smaller door. I cannot move forward from F. We have to go from bigger door to smaller door. Therefore, this is false. Correct. Coming to A is greater than D, we have to move from A to D. So A to D, if I have to move, I can see relationship between A to C and I can see relationship between C to D. Correct? So I can see A is greater than B, B is greater than equal to C and C is less than equal to D. So now I can move up to C, but then the symbol has changed. This is a smaller door. So I cannot proceed after C. So this conclusion is also false. So both my conclusions are false. I can say that neither conclusion 1 nor conclusion 2 follows. So my answer will be option number 4. Clear? Coming to question number 14. Question number 14, again statement is given to us, conclusions are given to us and we have to find the answer. So P is greater than Z. That means we will move from P to Z. Correct? So if I move from P to Z, I can see relationship between P and X and Z. So P is greater than X is greater than Y and Y is greater than equal to Z. This is given. Correct? So here I can easily conclude that P is greater than Z. This is Y. Okay, this is Y. P is greater than Z. So this conclusion will be true. Now we have to find out whether P is greater than Q. Correct? Over here, I can see a relationship that Y is equal to Q. So instead of Y, I can also put Q. Instead of Y, I can also put Q because they are equal. So P is definitely greater than Q. This is also true. So my answer will be that both the conclusions follows. Therefore, my answer will be option number 5. Okay? Moving to question number 15. Question number 15, statements and conclusions. H is greater than L, so we will move from H to L. Correct? H to L, I can see a relationship between H and I and L. So I can see H is greater than I and I is basically less than equal to L. So I can move forward till I, but I cannot proceed further because we move from bigger to smaller door. So this statement will definitely be false. Correct? The second statement says that L is greater than K. So we will move from L to K. Now, if I have to move from L to K, I can see relationship between L and I and J and K. So basically it is given to us that L is greater than equal to I is greater than equal to J and J is greater than K. So based on this information, I can conclude that L is greater than K, right? Based on this information, I can conclude that L is greater than K. So this statement will be true. So my answer will be that only conclusion 2 follows. That is option number 2. Clear? Coming to question number 16. Question number 16, statement and conclusions. So S is greater to R. So we will move from S to R. Correct? I can see relationship between S and QP and P and R. But if I look closely, S has a smaller door in front of it. S does not have a bigger door. So can I proceed further from S? We move from bigger door to smaller door. Can I proceed further? No. So this is definitely false. Correct? This conclusion will be false. Now, the second one is O is greater than S. So, if I have to see whether O is greater than S, I will move from O to S. Correct? I will move from O to S. So, if I look over here, I have a relationship between O and Q and S. So, it is given to us that O is greater than equal to P, which is equal to Q, and Q is greater than S. Correct? Based on this information, I can conclude that O is greater than S. So this will be true. So my answer will be option number 2, that only conclusion 2 follows. Correct? This will be my answer. Coming to question number 17. Question number 17. First conclusion says that J is greater to D. That means we will move from J to D. If I look over here, I can see relationship between J and E and D. So J is greater than H, which is equal to E, and E is less than equal to D. So I can proceed up to E, but then I cannot go forward because we don't have a bigger door over here. This is a smaller door. So this is false. Correct? If I look at option number 2, J is greater to G. So we will move from J to G. Correct? If I extend this further, after E it is given to us that E is greater than F and F is equal to G. Correct? If I take this much information, it is given to us that E is greater than F and F is equal to G. So J is definitely greater than G. So this will be true. So I can conclude that only conclusion 2 follows. Therefore, my answer will be option number 2. Correct? Moving on to question number 18. Two conclusions are given to us. First is J is greater to F. So over here I can see relationship between J and R and F. So J is greater than equal to R and R is greater than F is given to us. Correct? So based on this information, I can definitely say J is greater than F. So this is true. Now we have to find out whether B is greater than W. Correct? B is greater than W. So if I look over here, B is greater than J. J is greater than R and Z. But we don't have any relationship between B and W. There is no direct relationship. If I move forward, I can see B is greater than J. This much information also I can use. J is greater than equal to R. Correct? This much information. But now if I see, I don't have any relationship between R and W. So I cannot conclude the relationship between B and W. Therefore, this conclusion will be false. Correct? So my answer will be that only conclusion 1 follows. Option number 1. Clear? Now coming to question number 19. So question number 19, if I see the first statement that Q is greater than S. So we have to move from Q to S. So I can see a relationship between Q and P, and I can see a relationship between P and S. So basically it is given to us that Q is greater than P and is equal to S. So definitely Q will be greater than S. So this will be true. Correct? If I look at statement number 2, which says Q is equal to T. So over here I can see relationship between Q and R and T. So Q is greater than equal to R, which is greater than equal to T. So basically we get the relationship between Q and T to be like this, that Q is greater than equal to T. So this gives us two possibilities. It could be greater than or equal to. But we are looking at only definitely true conclusions, right? So this will be false. So my answer will be option number 1 follows, only 1 follows. Correct? Moving on to question number 20. Question number 20, let us look at the conclusions. The first conclusion says that M is equal to N. Over here, I cannot see a direct relationship between M and N. It is not mentioned, so this will be false. If I look at option number 2 or conclusion number 2, it says that R is greater than equal to A. So we will move from R to A. Now I can see relationship between R and M, correct? But I cannot see R anywhere else. So this is only one place where I can see R. Now over here, the symbol that is used is greater than and not greater than equal to. So in any which case, the maximum relationship between R and A can be that R is greater than A. But we cannot conclude this one, correct? So this will also be false. So my answer will be that neither of them follows. Option number 3, correct? So this concludes today's lecture. Thank you.